Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. For the last 2 days, we've showed off this really fun team with Crit Intelleon and G-Max Machamp, so we'll be playing a couple more games with it, and we're just jumping right into today's episode. First team that we're going up against has a Cinderace. I think Cinderace and Rillaboom both have jumped into like the top 10 in terms of usage stats on Battle Stadium, so you should expect to see a lot of it in the next 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm curious, of course, once again, how much the metagame shakes even before the DLC and then what it looks like after the DLC. Once the DLC drops, I'll definitely be dropping more videos on everything surrounding competitive and the meta and everything. But let's jump into this episode. We're up against a Tailwind composition, so there's Whimsicott with Tailwind, a lot of like mid-tier to fast Pokemon, including Hydreigon, Gyarados, and Arcanine. And I think the Cinderace is what really concerns me here. Cinderace obviously just has such good typing, it can hit everything. Intimidate might be really valuable for that reason, but of course my opponent can have the Milotic out next to the Cinderace. I kind of anticipate them leading with the Whimsicott. So like if they go with Whimsicott, we could just go with the Togekiss Inteleon mode. We could even try to set up Trick Room. Like one route I'm thinking of in this game is go with Togekiss Chandelure, set up Trick Room, and then kind of do some work with Machamp. So not bring Inteleon for once. And in the back, we could go with Machamp and maybe Serena. Cinderace gave us some trouble in yesterday's episode, so it definitely concerns me a fair amount. Intimidate is quite valuable here, but Serena would be good for Milotic. I guess I'll bring in Incineroar. This is a little bit risky, though, of course, because I think my opponent should probably bring out the Milotic, so the more I think about it, the more I think Serena is probably the better call overall, but Incineroar helps out against a lot, so I just have to play smart with it. It's always going to be a decent call, just don't want to have it out when Milotic is out. So we're going to jump into today's episode. Of course, this is a rental team, so feel free to try it out yourselves. Code is linked in the description below. As always, if you guys enjoyed, please share your support by leaving a like, and let's get started. Meet Gyarados and Arcanine, okay? The Togekiss Inteleon route that I wanted to go with was actually not too bad here, but this is fine. Wonder if the Gyarados is also Intimidate, then it would be double Intimidate. Yeah. Wonder why they led with double Intimidate here. Surprised not to see Whimsicott. It's like the safe play here is to just follow me and Trick Room, because then I can switch in Incineroar and then bring out Machamp, and ideally they Dynamax turn 1, so we have the Dynamax advantage. So I think I'm going to play it safe turn 1, I'm just going to go for follow me Trick Room. I'm hoping they go for something like, I don't know, Snarl, Max Airstream. They don't Dynamax though, which is a good move on their end. So smartly done. I think a Dynamax would have cost them a lot here. Yeah, so Arcanine's going to Snarl. I could very easily switch into Incineroar next turn, so that's the play. The question is whether I want to commit double switching into both Incineroar and Machamp. Gyarados Dragon Dances, okay. Slightly scary. Wonder if now if Gyarados commits to Dynamax? Like, I want my opponent to Dynamax for sure, and I went with the Trick Room route this game because with the threat of Whimsicott, I didn't think I'd really be able to outpace my opponent. Inteleon would have ended up being alright here, but still fine. Okay, we have Machamp in the back and we have Incineroar. I think I really want just as much damage as possible onto Gyarados. I'm just going to go for an Air Slash and switch out Chandelure into Incineroar. I could also Protect here. Like, Protect, get in. The only concern is that Gyarados might just target the Chandelure slot anyway. Or I could follow me to ensure that Incineroar comes in safe and then Parting Shot the subsequent turn. I don't think I mind that actually, because what could be really bad here is if I protect the Togekiss, the Gyarados maxes, and then Max Geyser Chandelure, which then becomes Incineroar. That might just one-hit KO us. If it does, we're in a fair amount of trouble. Here, by going for Follow Me, I guarantee an Intimidate. It also means that if Togekiss goes down, I get a free switch into G-Max Machamp, and then I can Parting Shot Gyarados in the next turn. And they do commit the Dynamax, which is good. So that's what I want to see. It's also not Moxie-Dose, which bodes well for us. So kind of a weird start to the game, for sure. But this is part of the reason why I felt like I needed Incineroar. There were so many physical type attackers. But like I said, yeah, if I just went with Togekiss and Inteleon, I could have gone for Follow Me, Focus Energy turn 1, and then probably just like another Follow Me Airstream the subsequent turn. But yeah, this Follow Me just ensures that Incineroar survives this turn, which I think is pretty important in trying to shut down this Gyarados. So they're going out for Flare Blitz, okay. See how much it does. Togekiss hangs on with a healthy amount, not bad. Let's see if they opted for Max Geyser. Oh, they actually opted for Airstream. Interesting. But Togekiss hangs on. Okay, nice. That is super great. Now what we can do is go for a parting shot onto the Gyarados, I think. If I'm my opponent, I'm probably Snarling and then Geysering into Incineroar. So what I want to do is protect here and parting shot into the Gyarados, I think. So that brings it to -2 attack. Or sorry, -1 attack. Arcanine switches out. Maybe my Milotic coming in. Yeah. This is the tricky thing. I think I didn't have a super consistent mode in this team. In this game. Because, like, I kind of need Serena for the Milotic, but, like, Serena doesn't match up well against Gyarados or Arcanine at all. The Protect here ends up being pretty useless. I was hoping the Arcanine would stay in. Instead of I could have gone for, like, a Dazzling Gleam or something. I think I'm going to bring out the Chandelure. Yeah. The problem is that the Arcanine now can just cycle back in for Intimidates. Yeah. Okay, they're going to opt for another Airstream into Togekiss. Okay, that's fine by me. Problem is, of course, now I can't bring out the Incineroar because it's just going to give the Milotic a competitive boost. So I think I have to bring out Machamp and max it in this game, but with Intimidate, it just doesn't feel super good right now. Like, I'm not in a very comfortable spot because I haven't done any damage to my opponent yet, right? And the good thing is that we will outpace the Milotic with both of our Pokemon. We do have Dynamic Punch as well, but a max Airstream will obviously still do so much damage to Machamp. So I feel compelled to max the Machamp here. And once again, this is the problem with Chi-Strike, right? Like, it just doesn't do that much. I'm wondering if a Dynamic Punch and Shadow Ball just KO the Milotic, because that could be worth considering as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to max. Could Steel Spike for a defense boost, but does so little damage. Yeah, I think I'm going to Chi-Strike Shadow Ball the Milo. It might switch out into Arcanine. If it stays in, that's also fine. Looks like it's going to opt to stay in. Gyarados is at -1 attack, and max Airstream will still do a hefty amount. We're stalling out Trick Room as well. So, I mean, the main thing that I tried to do this game was, like, stagger out the Trick Room turns. Sorry, the Dynamax turns, but it didn't really end up doing too much for us in the end. Like, but I didn't have a clear sweeper, because, like, Inteleon didn't feel super great. Wow, the Milotic protects, too. That's unfortunate. Okay, so that puts us in a really bad spot, I would say. I wasn't sure if it had Protect. Obviously, like, Milos want to run, like, Muddy Water, nice type attack, Recover, Hypnosis, Coil, can run any of those, and then if you can fit Protect onto it. So I felt like it was relatively safe to double up onto it, but ends up not working out too well. But I was never KOing Gyarados with a double up here anyway. It's going to opt for Max Quake. Okay. I mean, that should KO us. Yeah. So we get Incineroar in, and Trick Room is still up, and we are increasing our crit ratio. Also, once Gyarados' max ends, it can't really Airstream, right? Like, its flying type attacks become pretty useless. So, still not the end of the world. But that was a good Protect on Milotic. I wasn't sure if they had it, and so I think this matchup, Pokemon-wise, was just pretty tricky. We're down 2-4. I think it's still winnable, but it gets a lot harder. I think if we want a shot, we might need to crit the Milotic. And if I'm my opponent, actually, I think you just switch the Gyarados out into Arcanine. So if I don't predict that, I could fake out and go for another Chi-Strike onto the Milotic, getting us another increased crit ratio. Let's see. We only have one turn of Trick Room. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely Chi-Striking Milotic. It's just what I do with Incineroar. Do I fake out? Do I Throw Chop, hoping that I just crit with the Throw Chop or the Chi-Strike? Fake Out's safer, but by using Fake Out, then the Milotic can just outspeed the next turn. We might need to hope for a crit at this point. Because I think Gyarados is switching out into Arcanine. Oh, wow, the Milotic switched out. I didn't anticipate that. Into Whimsicott, wow. Huh. Double switch, okay. I think it's gonna be relatively hard to win now because my opponent has double Intimidate as well, and like our special attackers were Inteleon. Like, I didn't actually end up bringing very much to threaten the Inteleon, so I probably should have just gone with the Inteleon route this game. But it's pretty good damage from Chi-Strike. Is that a crit? Let's see. It was, yeah. Okay, so we're at 2 increased stage of crits. I mean, Dynamaxing Togekiss also may have been the route, although Snarl makes things pretty hard. Like, I think Inteleon was probably the way to go in this game because we ignore the Snarl drops. Surprised to see the Milotic switch out, but it makes sense. My opponent's just going to try to stall out my Dynamax. They probably have Will-O-Wisp here. crit Rockfall will just KO the Arcanine, so I think we just go for a double KO here. Yeah. Although they probably Will-O-Wisp, I would think. Moonblast Will-O-Wisp. Ah, they have Charm. Although, we don't care about the attack decreases if we crit here. But he's Will-O-Wisping as well. Okay. That makes sense. That essentially means we do nothing to the Milotic, so that should seal up the game. And if Milotic didn't have Protect, I actually think like the amount of damage we would have gotten off there was going to be good enough to maybe have a shot at winning. But it just so happens that my opponent's also Charm Whimsicott, so they had a lot of techs that made this matchup pretty difficult. In the end, Intelleon would have been okay, but if I were to go with Intelleon, I probably needed Serena as well. Nice, we managed to crit there, so it's not necessarily over because we can Dynamic Punch crit the Milotic. And of course we have Confusion still. Oh, we didn't KO the Arcanine, wow. It hung on with literally 1 HP. That's rather unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, that makes it harder then. Because if we KO that, then you have to bring in both of your Pokemon, and like your Milotic is in threat, basically. But now you can bring in the Gyarados, get another Intimidate off. So I'm at -4 attack, and I'm burnt. Stone Edge crit would still maybe seal something up. I didn't anticipate the double switch out either. But yeah, I think one of my main problems with Machamp is that G-Max T-Shrike, like being base 90 is just super weak. If it were like 130, I think it would be a lot more viable. But you don't do enough damage while maxed, then like you have to use the effect multiple times, right, to hopefully get some crits off. Now you can just Waterfall the Incineroar. Yeah. Arcanine's pretty useless, so I guess I hope to survive with the Incineroar, double up and KO the Gyarados if we get a crit. I guess Stone Edge is actually guaranteed to crit, right? Because we're at +2, and Arcanine protects, okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Gyarados protected here as well. No, they opted for Bounce. Ooh, okay. Well, then I had no better play here. Yeah, they could miss Bounce, though. And Stone Edge still hits because of, yeah, that's how it works against Bounce, which is pretty funny. We get the crit there, but yeah, with the burn, not enough. If they miss Bounce, there's a chance. I think I would have just Waterfalled there to play it safe, so I'm surprised they risked it on a Bounce miss. I mean, you Flare Blitz bounce the Machamp, right? Yeah. If I hope for a miss, I mean, I just need to pick up a KO here. So I guess we can just Stone Edge the Arcanine and Throat Chop the Gyarados. I think Bounce is, what, 85 accuracy? Ooh, Arcanine switched out. I actually thought about Dynamic Punching that slot. Maybe I should have. Bounce is going to hit, unfortunate. Oh, actually, wait, you can't miss, right? No guard. Never mind. That was a 100% safe play on their end then, if they knew I was Assault Vested. So, nicely played by my opponent. Yeah, the Bounce is a super safe play then, unless I have Protect. And I'm not sure they knew what item I was up at that point, so that play is risky because if I have Protect, then you just waste a Bounce and then I KO the Gyarados. But, yeah, sorry, I forgot that he couldn't miss there. This ended up being a pretty close game, I think. Yeah, if Milo didn't have Protect, it would have maybe worked out all right. I also could have been doing damage with the Togekiss. And in the end, it looks like Intelleon would have actually been pretty good here. Although the problem is, like, Max Intelleon against Max Gyarados. Like, Gyarados outtrades us in terms of damage there. So, I feel like Bulky Waters plus Arcanine is just not exactly the best matchup here. And my opponent ended up... Yeah, I mean, the Charm didn't make much of a difference in the end, I guess, because we got all those crits. I could have maybe nailed the Whimsicott on the switch in. Overall, just well played by my opponent, I would say. I think... in terms of matchup, like, I went with the Trick Room route, which I don't necessarily regret, but the problem was that we didn't really do much damage, right? Like, my goal was to stall out my opponent's Dynamax, but I kind of needed one more turn to buy, like, for my opponent to completely not have Dynamax. Double Intimidate means that I kind of have to use my special attackers, but could have maybe considered Dynamaxing Togekiss. That was an approach as well. Alright, we're going up against another Whimsicott here. This is a pretty standard team, nothing too crazy. As always with these teams, my biggest question is what are the items? Is it Sash, Excadrill, Babiri, Togekiss, Scope Lens, Wide Lens on Venusaur? Never say for sure. Let's see. I feel like our Togekiss is pretty solid here. Once again, the problem is Tailwind, right? Togekiss and Intelleon sweeps through because Intelleon just naturally outspeeds everything. But in this case, they could easily just lead Whimsicott. In that last game, our opponent brought Whimsicott, but they didn't lead it. I mean, often Incineroar does dissuade people from leading it immediately. Serena feels pretty necessary here, actually, because of the Rotom. So I think I need it in the back. Although I guess I can get away with Machamp as well. Just like regular Machamp. Thinking of Incineroar and Intelleon, actually. With... what do I want in the back? I really do need answers. I mean, I kind of want Togekiss because of the Babiri and for redirection. Like, I could go to Togekiss Machamp. Serena would have, like, helped a little bit in that last game, but I don't think it would have, like, made or break... like, it wasn't going to make or break the game because my opponent had double Intimidate plus Gyarados with Airstream. So even though Serena puts on pressure against the Milotic, Gyarados and Arcanine just give Serena such a tough time. Alright, so let's see. This matchup doesn't, like, I think Whimsicott matchups in general are just pretty scary. My opponent leads Whimsicott Rotom, which is actually a really, really good lead on their end. I think this is really rough for us, actually, because they can pretty easily max Electric into Intelleon and just Tailwind. I don't know what my counterplay to that is, really. I mean, I could fake out Air Slash into the Whimsicott, hope to KO that, as they max Electric, and then that gives me a free switch into Machamp. But they could obviously protect the Whimsicott here, if they have it. I think I have to really go for this, though. Yeah, they're going to max Rotom. This isn't, like, terrible, because, like, I will get Machamp in. But I led this to counter, like, Venusaur. Yeah. I think Bulky Waters in general is somewhat of a tough matchup for this. Like, the last one we ran into Gyarados, Milo, and now we're running into Rotom, because, like, Serena's the answer against this. And Whimsicott protects. Ugh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty telegraphed play. I didn't really have too much counterplay, though. Because I was already behind, I figured I kind of needed to make, like, a play like this. Yeah, I could have parting shotted. That's pretty much it. They're actually not for Geyser, though, into Incineroar. Okay. See if that KOs us. Yeah, it's Life Orb too. Think it's Life Orb? Actually, I'm not sure if we survive that, even if it's not Life Orb. Let's see. Okay, so that faints. Yeah. Whimsicott Bulky Water, not a great time. If I had Serena, I could have probably bring it out and max it here. Like, the thing is, if I actually traded Whimsicott there, I mean, I think Whimsicott almost always carries Protect nowadays, because, like, Incineroar is in the format, right? It's kind of bad not to. Yeah, the problem is now they get Tailwind up. And once Tailwind is up, Rotom just outspeeds and KOs everything. So I maybe needed to bring Serena solely for Rotom into this matchup. We could go into Machamp. Max the Machamp. That might be the route. They might just fake tiers, like double up onto the Machamp. The question is whether they have fake tiers as well. Most Rotoms, or sorry, Whimsicotts don't carry fake tiers nowadays. I might even consider going for Dynamic Punch just for the confusion onto Rotom. And just Air Slash the Whimsicott. Because they also might just like Tailwind Max Lightning into Intelleon. If I'm my opponent, I think I double up onto Machamp because most Machamps are Assault Vested. And they have fake tiers. Yeah, we're running into like the nightmare scenarios today. I maybe could have led. I don't even know what I can lead to beat this. Serena's the only answer, I guess. You're gonna Geyser, yeah. That's tough. Serena's like the only answer. So I guess like in this game, I at least needed to bring Serena to have a chance, because then I can at least bring out Serena and max it in front of the Rotom. But Serena's just so weak against everything else in the back, so it doesn't feel like a definitive answer against Bulky Waters. Because my opponent has, you know, threat of Venusaur in the back. There's Togekiss as well. Serena does terribly against both of those. Okay, I think our one way of winning is hoping they go for like fake tiers instead of tailwinding. So we max guard here. Or actually no, sorry, we protect here. Yeah, we can still win this if they flub up this turn. We protect max Airstream. So I'm hoping here they don't expect to protect, they just go for fake tears and max lightning. I think the best play on their end is just to always click Tailwind here and max lightning into Intelleon though. But if they go for that, we pretty much have no out. So I could hope for them to mess up basically Gravely this turn and capitalize off that. That's our only shot. And if they actually end up going for fake tears instead of tailwinding, like, we actually have a pretty decent chance. But yeah, the fact that they had protect and fake tears, which isn't like super uncommon, but the fact that they had it just made this game a lot harder to win. Yeah, because it means they pressure tailwind. They do opt for fake tears though into Togekiss. Okay, this is our one chance, and we'll get the airstream off. They might have just went for max lightning onto Intelleon anyway though, because that's a pretty safe play. Like, that covers for Intelleon protecting, because you guarantee a fake tears against the Togekiss, but not Tailwind. I actually think Tailwind is always the right play there. So I'd rather see fake tears. Let's see if Max Lightning went into Togekiss. Alright, comes out. Does go into Togekiss. Okay. That is exactly what we needed to have a shot at winning. Like, that was the only play. Like, I made this play saying, okay, the only way we win this is if our opponent goes for that play. Because now their Dynamax is over, Rain is up, Intelleon and Togekiss are at +1 speed, and we can potentially flinch or crit with the Togekiss. So, this gives us a fighting chance. They bring out Togekiss though, which makes this pretty hard. With Togekiss then, I think we need an Air Slash flinch because I have to max Geyser to KO into the Togekiss right now. I don't even know if that KOs. Could also go for a double protect. That's the alternative. I don't think Geyser KOs Togekiss unless we crit. But Dazzle is never KOing the Rotom anyway. So the question is whether I opt to go for a double protect or whether I hope to crit and then flinch. Yeah, I guess I'll just Air Slash and Geyser here. Maybe I could have targeted Rotom with the Geyser actually. Yeah, he had protect on Togekiss. That would have been the play. Although we can flinch now actually since they went for that. And if we flinch, then a Dazzle might just KO the subsequent turn because then Geyser becomes single target onto Togekiss. Okay. Can we flinch here? Let's see. That's good damage. I think that's a crit. Yep, but I need the flinch. No flinch though. Okay. Yeah, that was my only shot. A double up may have actually KO'd the Rotom since it's non-bulky Rotom, so I think I should have always gone for Geyser and Air Slash into the Rotom there. That might have actually just won us the game. Because I think protecting Togekiss, I think you should always follow me there, which is why I went for the play I did, and I was hoping we just crit into the Togekiss, but since we were already behind, I think I needed for my opponent to flub up a little bit, and by going for the protect, yeah, that was like slightly risky that they opted for that. Rotom protects this time around. Okay, nice play. Yeah, so that should seal up the game now. If I targeted Togekiss there, I don't know, maybe we had a chance. I don't know why they didn't just go for Follow Me Thunderbolt here. Yeah, but it ended up working out. That last turn, I think I basically needed to gamble a little bit, and since I already, like, because we were so far behind in this game, I needed to call that even further. But that's a testament. Like, you never want to be so far behind where you need to make every prediction correctly to even have a shot at winning, right? So we basically dug ourselves into a really deep hole in this game, and I think the problem with both the last game and in this game is that water types give us a fair amount of trouble because Intelleon doesn't do that much damage to them, and the water type weakness isn't completely patched by having Serena. I'm sure we could have brought out Serena in that game, right? Yeah, I'm curious on the movesets. It was Wide Lens, so he was not Nasty Plot, just full offensive. Tailwind, Moonblast, Fake Tears, Protect, so no Taunt, which is interesting. Protect on almost everything, or pretty much, actually literally everything, yeah. Curious what their Trick Room matchup is without Taunt on Whimsicott, since a lot of players opt for Taunt over Fake Tears nowadays. But yeah, well done on their end. Fake Tears was super solid call, made it so that Machamp didn't have any chance in that matchup. I could have maybe led Serena, but I didn't feel super comfortable with it. Like, the problem isn't just the water types, it's like the threat of the water types plus Tailwind. Without Tailwind, like, I could just go Intelleon pretty easily. There's another Milotic this time around, but maybe this is fine. This does feel like an Intelleon Togekiss game here. Yeah, Machamp looks solid here. This is the tricky thing. Like, once again, I want to bring Incineroar. Chandelure does not seem like the right answer here. So I'm thinking Machamp and then maybe Serena. Because, like, Milotic has been, like, the waters have just been giving me too much trouble today. Just Intimidate helps out so much against Excadrill. And Cinderace. My first opponent didn't even end up bringing Cinderace out, so let's see. At least this time around, I think like the Whimsicott's also made things pretty tricky. Whimsicott's definitely seen a resurgence in the last couple of days because it partners really well with things like offensive Rillaboom and Cinderace, so it's not shocking to see that. So yeah, I don't know. In that last matchup, what can we lead against Whimsicott Rotom when the Whimsicott has Protect? Serena. I mean, we pretty much have to lead Serena. And just max the Serena and max Overgrowth. But the other problem is I don't know if the Rotom is Sashed, or sorry, is Citrus or Life Orb. I think Rotom on paper looks really good though, so my lead didn't cover for Rotom Wall at all, and I needed to at least lead something else to have a shot against it. The Geyser into Rotom also might have just KO'd, so I regret not making that play, because I even called like maybe they go for the Protect, but I thought at that position they could make safe plays every turn and still win, so I thought I needed to get a little bit lucky. But since I was already hoping for them to throw at that point, I needed to basically call them making plays that weren't super optimal. Okay, it's going to be Charizard and Milotic. Okay. Yeah, once again, the Bulky Water is out. What do I want to do here? I mean, I could just max Geyser immediately, right? They don't have a way to set up Sun. But I don't know if that KOs. I think they would, if they were to max though, they would Airstream. Max. Actually, I feel like maybe Geyser just KOs. I mean, I don't know. I could really see them. I could Quake here as well. Like, predict the Charizard to Protect, Quake and Air Slash Milo, or even just go for a Focus Energy. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Focus Energy, Air Slash into the Milotic. If my opponent's expecting regular Life Orb Inteleon, I think they switch out the Charizard or Protect it. Okay, that's good. That's what we want to see. So if we flinch or if Milo is just like flinch or Milo going for Hypnosis and missing is what we're hoping for here. I guess I could also just opt for like a Icy Wind. Let's get a Coil. Okay. I don't mind that very much, I think. Okay, so now we have guaranteed crits. That's good. That's good. My opponent doesn't have any water switch-ins, so going for a Geyser onto the Charizard's pretty safe. The alternative play I want to go for is like Quake and Air Slash into the Milotic. I don't even know if that KOs though, even with the crit on Max Quake. So it might be better to just Geyser and follow me. I think Charizard switches out here. I don't know, I really wanted to double up onto Milotic, but I didn't know if it was enough to KO. So I think this exemplifies the problem, right? Even when we get our ideal setup, like, we don't do that much damage. Okay, they stay in with Charizard, which is a good sign, because that's a KO. Especially if Charizard's maxing. I think one play my opponent might have been reading into was me going for a like a double up onto the Milotic, and then so you can max Charizard Airstream Hypnosis. So I'd love to see Charizard max here. Either way, that's out of the way, which is good, because that is a problem for Serena. Alright, something's maxing. Let's see if it's Milotic. I mean, why would you Coil and then attack, right? Or Coil and then Dynamax? I feel like it has to be Charizard maxing. Okay, that's super good. I think the Geyser crit should just get the one-hit KO here, which means my opponent's playing without Dynamax. Even if Hypnosis connects on Togekiss, we still have 2 turns of Dynamax. Okay. I don't know. I think... Yeah, the threat of Charizard Dynamaxing meant that I had to Geyser that slot, I think. Well, this is satisfying. We get a one-hit KO onto it. Okay, beautiful. So that's one Pokemon down. And if Milotic misses the Hypnosis, I want to say that would just be game, because it means that Inteleon gets 3 turns of Dynamax off. Let's see. Either way, Milo's not doing much damage, and we have Serena in the back for it, and they missed Hypnosis. Alright, that's like the dream turn. Perfect. I wish we had Lum, just so that I had a little bit more like safety and insurance here, but yeah, now we're just trying to play around the Milotic. Snorlax is coming in. Okay, that's fine by me. I mean, that's going to do absolutely nothing, right? Yeah. So we get Airstream. Actually, does Geyser do more because of Stab and Rain? We could also Quake, but I don't think that's the play. I mean, I don't think I should be worried about the Milo whatsoever. Yeah, I kind of want to just Geyser Air Slash into the Milotic. Especially because it's Coil and Hypnosis, which makes me think it's Muddy Water Recover as the last two. Like, I don't really care about Snorlax at all. Alright, let's see how much Geyser does. That is how you do it with Inteleon, ladies and gents. Beautiful. Okay, nice. Air Slash comes out. I mean, Snorlax can't do anything at this point. It's just gonna Double Edge, yeah. Okay. I didn't really play around Inteleon in the first two games, and I think that was my mistake. I needed to. Although Inteleon is really bad against Rotom-Wash. Like, I think Rotom-Wash is a shaky matchup, and because I wasn't very well acquainted with the Bulky Water matchup, I didn't play as well as I should have around it. But this is Inteleon just getting 3 KOs in 3 turns, I think. Yeah. Let me just make sure. I should just Airstream to be like the safest place to follow me Airstream here. I'm curious if that KOs Snorlax. I guess we're about to find out. The Hypnosis miss was obviously unfortunate, but given that Max Geyser was a one-hit KO onto the Milotic anyway, I don't think it actually makes that much of a difference. Since we would have just KO'd that. Yeah, he opts for Sucker Punch. Nice. Cool. So this was an Inteleon sweep. Airstream comes out, and it picks up the one-hit KO on a Snorlax. So Inteleon's just going to pick up 4 KOs in 4 turns, essentially. That's beautiful. Yeah. So the Milotic was really scary, and I think my opponent maybe could have just gambled on going for Hypnosis on the first turn immediately instead of Coil into Hypnosis. Because what, your odds of hitting Hypnosis are 60%, so odds of missing 2, if you're using them in consecutive turns, are, it's what, 16%? Because you have a 40% chance to miss, so the chance of missing 2 times is, I think, 16%. And since, yeah, so it's 84% chance to get 1 of the 2 Hypnosis off versus 80 to get 1. So we can Snipe Shout here and just follow me. No Sucker Punch crits. And Inteleon will pick up 3 KOs, or essentially 4 KOs in 4 turns, which is pretty sweet. So, not bad. Alright, I think this will be our last episode with this team. So, actually, maybe I'll play one more. I feel like I learned a bunch from those first 2 losses today, and I didn't approach them super optimally. Like, our opponents played well, we ran into some tricky stuff, and I mean, game 2, I made a big mistake by not bringing Serena, I think. I should have anticipated the Whimsicott Rotom lead, since that was by far my opponent's best lead. I think I gave a little bit too much respect to things like Venusaur, but in the end, leading something like Togekiss, Machamp, or Serena and Incineroar could have given me a much better chance, because I think in that second game I pretty much need to Dynamax the Serena, even though there's the threat of Togekiss and Excadrill in the back. Right, I shouldn't say necessarily need to Dynamax it, but I should lead it to put on pressure against Rotom. I effectively lost that second game off the lead matchup alone, and then I also misplayed by not doubling up onto Rotom. And I think that is a good example of a game where you call the lead matchup incorrectly, and you just, it snowballs really, really out of your control. And that's an example of a matchup where, like, Rotom-Wash is a very favorable matchup against this entire team, so there's very little reason for my opponent to lead it, especially in a best of 1. So I should have recognized that as I went into that game, and unfortunately I didn't. And we made a play to get back into it, and if I actually went for the Max Geyser onto Rotom, I think even without a crit, it might have just KO'd since the rain was up. Actually, no, sorry, the rain wasn't up there, so we would have needed a crit. But if we get the crit there, we actually most likely just win the game, because then the following turn, we just KO'd the Togekiss freely, and then my Togekiss is also at +1 speed, whereas Inteleon still is in this last turn of Dynamax. So despite how bad that second game could have been, I still could have clawed back into it. I just didn't make the best call. We would have needed a lot to go right our way, so that's why you never want to be so far behind, because even when you call things correctly, you might still not end up winning. So the lead matchup was just not very good in the second game, and unfortunately my opponent had Fake Tears as well. Like I said, a lot of Whimsicotts nowadays maybe don't carry Fake Tears instead of, and run something like Taunt instead, but the Fake Tears was rough. And then in that first game, I think the first game's matchup was just really rough, honestly. I think we did almost everything we could have to have a shot, but I needed to maybe stall out one more turn of Dynamax from Machamp's end, and maybe do some more damage with Chandelure as well. I guess also if I predicted the Milotic Protect and double up onto Gyarados, that could have been really good, but yeah, I often make the assumption Milotics don't have Protect, and in that position I thought it was pretty safe to double up into that slot, and it just ended up not working out. So yeah, fun series of games though. I think definitely learned a lot from those losses, and I think it highlights how good Crit Inteleon can be, as we saw in that last game, but also how, like, as you can see, one of the, I would say, larger weaknesses with this team is running into bulky waters in general. And Serena fixes some of those matchups, but not all of them, mainly because Serena's just super weak to a lot of the partners that the bulky waters are often with, either being flying types or fire types. So I definitely made a mistake in not bringing Serena in that second game. It's the only thing that even gave us a shot, I think. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, though. Hopefully you found the games helpful. Hopefully you found them enjoyable. I'm glad to see Intelleon at least pull a full sweep in that last game. That's always fun. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you enjoyed, please share, support by leaving a like, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, peace.